Well, look at you, standing on the edge of a moment you didn't schedule, didn't predict, didn't even believe would come this violently. Something slid into place around your life. You felt it before you named it. That tightening in the atmosphere, that strange calm, that unspoken shift in the center of your chest. And you know what's unsettling about it? You didn't chase it. You didn't force it. You didn't beg for it. Something switched in your favor on its own, silently, ruthlessly, like destiny making a correction behind your back. No announcement, no warning, no flashing light. But you feel it. You feel the weight of it sitting on your shoulders differently. And soon, everyone else is going to feel it too. Because your next breakthrough, it isn't arriving politely. It's not slipping through the back door hoping no one notices. It's kicking through the front with a noise that makes haters choke on their own breath. Loud enough to shut entire circles down. Loud enough to drain the arrogance out of people who mistook your silence for surrender. Loud enough to make people who once mocked your pace suddenly pretend they were never watching you at all. Let me tell you something raw. Breakthroughs like this don't come after convenient seasons. They come after nights you don't talk about, after storms you navigated while people slept comfortably under roofs you never had. After years of being treated like a footnote in stories you were the foundation of, something switched because something had to. Because the version of you that kept breaking quietly, healing quietly, rising quietly, finally reached a threshold. And thresholds don't whisper. They snap, they shift, they erupt. That's what you're feeling right now. This is not motivation. This is metamorphosis. Something in your life has stepped into a different gravitational pull. And every hater, every doubter, every whisperer is about to feel the tremor. You were never meant to rise in silence forever. There comes a moment in every chosen person's life when their growth becomes too large to hide, too heavy to minimize, too undeniable to swallow. That moment is here. And the loudness they're about to experience won't come from your mouth. It will come from your transformation. It will come from the way rooms shift when you walk in, the way conversations pause, the way certain people suddenly avoid eye contact because something in your energy exposes everything in theirs. Loudness isn't volume. Loudness is impact. Loudness is the kind of breakthrough that rearranges social dynamics without making a sound. Loudness is the kind of shift that forces the people who belittled you to become silent witnesses of your elevation. They're not ready. That's the truth they won't say out loud. They were prepared for your consistency, not your acceleration. They were prepared for your struggle, not your rising. They were prepared for you to stay predictable, contained, manageable. But something switched, and now the trajectory of your life has broken out of the frame they boxed you into. You don't belong to their assumptions anymore. You don't belong to their limitations. You don't belong to their outdated narratives. You have crossed into a version of yourself that their imagination cannot hold. Haters go quiet when fate stops obeying their opinions. When your breakthrough becomes undeniable, their voices collapse into whispers, not because they've changed, but because your blessing has outgrown their vocabulary. They don't know how to talk about someone who survived everything designed to break them. They don't know how to comment on someone who rose from ashes so silently that the resurrection feels supernatural. So they go quiet. Quiet not from peace, but from panic. Quiet not from acceptance, but from disbelief. Quiet because what's coming next for you is louder than their envy and stronger than their narratives. And here's what will disturb them most. They'll start realizing they never actually understood you. They understood your exhaustion, they understood your struggle, they understood your wounds, but they never understood your resilience. They never understood the way you regenerate. They never understood how someone breaks 100 times and still walks forward like nothing was taken. They never understood that the quiet you wasn't defeated, you were loading. And now that something has switched, that load is about to hit the world like a blast wave. You've been living beneath your own potential for so long that the rise will shock even you. You've dimmed yourself to make others comfortable, softened your edges to fit spaces never meant for your spirit. You taught yourself survival in climates that didn't want you alive. But breakthroughs, real breakthroughs, they don't honor the environments that oppressed you. They honor the truth you carried beneath the silence. They honor the vision you protected while pretending you had none. They honor the scars no one saw but you healed anyway. This breakthrough is loud because your suffering was quiet. This breakthrough is disruptive because your growth was hidden. This breakthrough is violent in its timing because your patience was weaponized against you. And now life is correcting the imbalance. No one warned them. Not because they weren't paying attention, but because they never believed a switch like this could exist inside someone like you. People assume the quiet ones stay quiet. People assume the humble ones stay small. People assume the broken ones stay low. But you're not in any of those categories anymore. Something in your internal wiring has been rewritten, rerouted, recharged. The same energy that once kept you timid is now fueling your momentum. The same silence they mistook for weakness is now the ground your breakthrough stands on. Your rise is going to expose people's insecurities without you saying a single word. Some will watch with trembling admiration, some with envy they try to hide but can't. Some with a numbness that comes from realizing they miscalculated you entirely. And some will go ghost, not because they're busy, but because your breakthrough forces them to confront the truth about themselves. Watching you win will show them where they've avoided growth. Watching you rise will remind them of every chance they wasted. Watching you expand will magnify every place they stayed small. Silence is easier than accountability, and your breakthrough demands both. The switching moment, the exact second destiny tilted toward your name, happened when you weren't looking, not because you were unprepared, but because blessings of this magnitude aren't delivered to people who cling to control. They're delivered to people who surrendered to becoming. You reached a stage where your suffering had taught you everything noise couldn't. You stopped begging for clarity and started becoming clarity. You stopped chasing opportunity and started attracting it. You stopped asking for permission and started embodying inevitability. That's when the switch flipped. That's when the favor turned. That's when the breakthrough loaded. Not when you were strong, when you were real. And now you're a storm they can't predict and a force they can't ignore. You're stepping into chapters that require a spine made from everything that once tried to break it. You're stepping into spaces where the old you would have second-guessed every step. But that version of you doesn't exist anymore. The breakthrough burned them away. The switch erased them. The rise buried them beneath layers of evolution you didn't even notice happening. Your next breakthrough is not just loud. It's inevitable. It's coded into your survival. It's embedded in your scars. It's written in the places where you refused to die. And when it hits, when the world feels the vibration of your name-changing altitude, silence will fall like ash. Haters will go quiet because they cannot comment on a version of you they never imagined. They cannot speak on a destiny they were never invited into. They cannot explain a switch they didn't see coming. And as their noise collapses, your clarity will rise. Your power will rise. Your access will rise. Your identity will rise. And this is where the story gets uncomfortable. Because the silence around you isn't just the absence of noise. It is the beginning of revelation. You see, silence exposes truth that noise used to drown out. People hid their envy behind chatter. They masked their insecurity with jokes. They disguised their obsession with criticism. But breakthrough has a way of stripping camouflage off human nature. And now that something has switched in your favor, their reactions are no longer protected by distraction. Watch closely. The quiet ones aren't always neutral. Some are quiet because they are calculating. Some are quiet because they are afraid. Some are quiet because your elevation forces them to confront the lie they told themselves about you. That you would never rise, never win, never evolve beyond the version they could control. They don't know what to do with you now. They don't know how to categorize you. They don't know where to place you in the hierarchy they built in their heads. Because your breakthrough didn't ask them for permission. It didn't wait for their acceptance. It didn't slow down for their comfort. This silence they're entering, it's thick, heavy, nervous. It's the kind of silence that shows up when people realize they misread the entire game. And they did. They miscalculated your endurance. They underestimated your resilience. They believed your wounds were disqualifications instead of prophecies. They thought your seasons of stagnation were proof you were finished. But stagnation is not death. In the spiritual world, stagnation is suspension, a pause before release, a gathering before liftoff, a stillness that isn't empty, it's loaded. And the moment that suspension ended, the moment the switch flipped, your name stopped behaving like a name and started behaving like a signal. This is what they were unprepared for. The way your energy changed before your circumstances did. Breakthrough always announces itself internally first. Your thoughts shifted. Your boundaries sharpened. Your tolerance for disrespect evaporated. Your old identity felt too small. Your spirit felt like it was pacing inside your chest, demanding more space, more breath, more room to expand. You didn't recognize it at first. It felt foreign, maybe even frightening. But that was the early tremor of the breakthrough forming, a spiritual earthquake in slow motion. And now, the aftershocks are starting to ripple outward. People can feel it before they see it. They may not say anything, but their bodies say everything. The way they look at you differently, the way they hesitate mid-sentence, the way their posture shifts whenever you enter a conversation, the way their compliments feel forced, the way their silence feels loaded. That's the atmosphere adjusting to your new frequency. That's the world trying to recalibrate around someone who refuses to shrink anymore. Understand this. When something switches in your favor, it switches against anything that was working against you. Destiny does not adjust quietly. It rearranges, it dismantles, it exposes, it forces people to reveal what they never wanted you to see. Not through confrontation, but through reaction. You don't have to test anyone. Their silence is the test. Their hesitation is the confession. Their discomfort is the truth. Some people will go quiet because they can't follow you into the next chapter. Not because they lack desire, but because they lack depth. Breakthrough doesn't just lift you. It filters your environment. It isolates you from the shallow, the insecure, the dependent, the jealous. Breakthroughs demand altitude, and altitude demands solitude. That's silence around you. It's a purging, not to punish you, but to protect what's coming. You can't carry dead weight into the future that's being constructed for you. You can't drag fragile egos into a destiny that requires steel. You can't accommodate people who crumble in the presence of your power. Your breakthrough is loud, but your spirit is louder. And that alone makes insecure people tremble. They didn't expect you to survive, let alone rise with this level of clarity. They didn't expect your silence to evolve into sovereignty. They didn't expect your resilience to calcify into authority. They didn't expect your scars to turn into strategies. They thought the pain would break you. They thought the losses would silence you. They thought the betrayals would paralyze you. What they didn't know is that the pain was building muscle. The losses were building vision. The betrayals were building discernment. While they laughed, you learned. While they doubted, you sharpened. While they dismissed you, you became dangerous. And now that the switch has flipped, everything is responding to you differently. Not because you changed externally, but because you changed energetically. You stepped out of survival mode and into alignment. You stepped out of fear and into embodiment. You stepped out of hesitation and into inevitability. People can sense inevitability. It unsettles them. It disarms them. It dissolves their illusions of superiority. That's why the silence is growing. Your breakthrough is dismantling their confidence in real time. But let's go deeper. A breakthrough like this doesn't just shift your environment. It shifts your identity. You're no longer moving as someone who hopes for change. You're moving as someone who causes change. You're carrying yourself like someone who knows exactly what they bring to the table, even if the table hasn't arrived yet. You're walking with a certainty that you didn't study your way into, you bled your way into. This is not arrogance. This is recognition, the recognition of your own magnitude. This is the moment where your old fears lose their authority. The moment where your past stops being a prison and becomes a reference point. The moment where your wounds stop echoing grief and start echoing prophecy. The moment where your quiet strength turns into a roar the world cannot mute. They will try to downplay you. They will try to ignore the signs. They will try to pretend they don't notice the shift. But silence betrays them. Silence always betrays truth. Do not misinterpret their stillness. It is not peace. It is not acceptance. It is not maturity. It is shock. It is recalibration. It is the dawning realization that the version of you they built their identity around no longer exists. Some people only knew how to feel tall next to your lowest self. But your lowest self is gone now. And without that reference point, they don't know who they are. That's why they're quiet. That's why they're distant. That's why they're strange. Your breakthrough erased the ladder they used to climb above you. Now pay close attention. When something switches in your favor, your opportunities change first, your relationships change second, and your environment changes last. The shift begins within, echoes around you, and then manifests before you. You're in the echo stage right now. The stage where everything feels almost unfamiliar. The stage where your spirit knows what your mind hasn't fully caught up to, yet you are no longer who you were yesterday. And that identity shift is the precursor to the breakthrough's physical arrival. But this breakthrough is not gentle. It doesn't knock softly. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It tears down walls. It breaks patterns. It disrupts expectations. It places you in spaces you didn't audition for. It introduces you to opportunities you didn't chase. It illuminates parts of you that were dormant. It makes noise in places that once tried to silence you. It makes space where you were once suffocated It ushers you into a chapter that feels like revenge wrapped in elevation. And the ones who underestimated you, they will feel this breakthrough before you do. Because people who doubted you are always the first to sense your transformation. They feel the shift in your energy because they've been monitoring you longer than you ever monitored yourself. They studied your struggles. They kept score of your failures. They memorized your weak points. And when destiny starts rewriting your story, their predictions crumble. That crumble is the silence you're hearing now. The quiet isn't accidental. It's the sound of people realizing their narrative no longer fits the reality forming around you. It's the sound of illusions snapping. It's the sound of identities collapsing. Because your breakthrough doesn't just affect you. It forces everyone who misread you to face themselves. And they won't like what they see. They're realizing that the version of you they mistreated was the most harmless version they ever had access to. They're realizing the version of you they dismissed was the last version that would have tolerated their disrespect. They're realizing the version of you they underestimated was the foundation of a much darker, much stronger, much louder force that's emerging now. Breakthroughs do not reveal your strength. They reveal the truth of others. And the truth is this: they needed you weak. They needed you confused. They needed you doubting yourself. Because as long as you were wounded, they could feel superior. As long as you were lost, they could feel stable. As long as you were silent, they could feel loud. But something switched, something tilted, something flipped in your spirit, and the balance of power shifted in ways they never anticipated. That's why the silence feels tense. Because now you are the one watching them, not out of revenge, out of clarity, out of discernment, out of an elevated vantage point that exposes the smallness of their intentions. And nothing terrifies small spirits more than someone who no longer needs their validation to breathe. You've stepped out of their jurisdiction. You've stepped out of their reach. You've stepped out of the mental prison they once housed you in. And freedom like that, it radiates, it intimidates, it disorients. That's why they're quiet. They're trying to figure out how they lost control of a game they thought they were winning. But what they never understood is that you were never playing the same game as them. You were enduring while they were performing. You were rising while they were gossiping. You were healing while they were hoping you'd break again. They invested in your downfall because it made them feel tall. Now they're discovering that your rise makes their insecurities go bone deep. The silence around you is not peace. It's panic. It's the sound of people rearranging their assumptions before you expose them, simply by existing at your next level. Because that's the thing about a loud breakthrough. It exposes everything that was whispering against you. Some people will suddenly act supportive. Some will suddenly act curious. Some will suddenly act distant. Some will suddenly act loyal. None of it is sudden. Your breakthrough is forcing their masks to malfunction. Their behavior is not changing. You're just finally seeing how unstable their loyalty always was. Breakthrough doesn't create chaos. It reveals the chaos that was already there. And the shift that just occurred in your life is not a small shift. It is a dislodging, a spiritual plate movement, a silent earthquake under the foundations of your story. You may not have language for it yet, but your spirit knows. It's why you've been standing differently, thinking differently, feeling differently. It's why certain things that used to shake you no longer move you. It's why certain people who once felt essential now feel irrelevant. It's why certain opportunities that once excited you now seem too small. You outgrew a season you were still standing in. And the moment your spirit outgrows something, the world is forced to adjust. This breakthrough is not a blessing, it's a recalibration. It's life correcting everything that underestimated you. It's the universe shifting its weight toward your name. It's divine reversal disguised as opportunity. It's the kind of breakthrough that makes your past look foolish, forever believing it could contain you. That's what's flipping. That's what's switching. That's what's loading. And the silence around you is the atmosphere preparing for your emergence. People think breakthroughs are about doors opening. They're not. They're about identities unlocking. When that switch flipped in your favor, it didn't change your circumstances, it changed you. And once you change at the core, your reality has no choice but to obey. This is why alignment always precedes acceleration. The person you were yesterday could not have held the elevation coming tomorrow. The wiring had to be updated. The mindset had to be rewired. The spirit had to be fortified. You had to lose the version of you that tolerated the bare minimum, trusted blindly, forgave too quickly, and apologized for existing. That version was never going to survive the altitude of the life being unlocked. Altitude isn't just about rising, it's about thinning. The air gets thinner, the circle gets thinner, the excuses get thinner, the tolerance for disrespect gets thinner. Breakthroughs prune you before they promote you. That's why so many people disappeared. That's why certain relationships crumbled. That's why certain environments started rejecting you out of nowhere. You were being prepared for an elevation they wouldn't survive. They were optional. Your breakthrough is not. Let me tell you something they will never admit. They knew something was coming for you long before you did. People who envy you can sense your destiny earlier than you can. They saw the resilience in your eyes long before you recognized it as strength. They saw the fight in your spirit long before you understood it as purpose. They saw the glow under your exhaustion long before you believed it was potential. And that terrified them, not because they hated you, because they saw what you could become if you ever stopped doubting yourself. They felt the magnitude of your future even before you stepped into it. And they prayed, consciously or unconsciously, that you would never reach this point. So when the switch flipped, when the momentum shifted, when the breakthrough activated, their silence wasn't confusion. It was confirmation. Every fear they carried came true. And there's something you need to understand now. People who doubted you will not speak on your breakthrough. Their silence is not humility, it's self-preservation. They don't want to acknowledge your rise because it exposes their misjudgment. They don't want to acknowledge your shift because it invalidates their past behavior. They don't want to acknowledge your evolution because it forces them to confront their own stagnation. Your breakthrough is their mirror, and mirrors never lie. This is why the silence feels so thick. It's not empty. It's admissions they're too proud to say out loud. It's guilt they can't disguise. It's respect they don't want to give you. It's fear they hope you can't see. But you see it. You feel it. And you're not wrong for noticing it. Because this breakthrough is not just loud in impact. It's loud in truth. It brings clarity. It brings exposure. It brings separation. It brings consequence. And here's the part that changes everything. Your next breakthrough will not just silence haters. It will reposition you. It will relocate you. It will re-identify you. It will rewrite how the world interacts with you. People will approach you differently. Opportunities will present themselves differently. Obstacles will behave differently. Even your intuition will speak differently. Because this is not the rise of the old you, it's the debut of the rightful you. And when this breakthrough arrives, it won't knock. It will announce itself. It will drag your name into rooms it was never supposed to enter. It will pull you into seasons you once believed were reserved for others. It will decorate your path with blessings that confuse your enemies and confirm your calling. And as all of this unfolds, the silence around you will deepen. Not emptiness, awe. Not distance, recognition. Not avoidance, fear. Because they thought the quiet you was harmless. They didn't know the quiet you was evolving. They thought the patient you was weak. They didn't know the patient you was strategic. They thought the delayed you was denied. They didn't know the delayed you was being rebuilt. Now they know, and the silence tells the story. But we're not done, because what comes next, what this breakthrough unlocks, what this shift triggers, is bigger than silence. Its consequence, reversal, recognition, and the kind of elevation they cannot recover from. And as all of this unfolds, the silence around you will deepen. Because they thought the quiet you was harmless. They didn't know the quiet you was evolving. They thought the patient you was weak. They didn't know the patient you was strategic. They thought the delayed you was denied. They didn't know the delayed you was being rebuilt. Now they know, and the silence tells the story. But we're not done, because what comes next, what this breakthrough unlocks, what this shift triggers, is bigger than silence. Its consequence, reversal, recognition, and the kind of elevation they cannot recover from. And that's where the real panic begins. You see, silence is only the first symptom, the warming up phase, the pre-shock tremor before their mental ground cracks straight down the middle. But breakthrough, real breakthrough, it doesn't stop at silence. It goes further. It takes inventory. It repositions the furniture inside their ego. It rearranges entire social dynamics without asking anyone for consent. And the best part, nobody warned them. That's the dark humor of destiny. It moves like a thief, but exposes like a judge. Your haters thought they had time to prepare for your comeback. They thought they'd get a rumor first, a sign, an omen, a whisper, maybe a little spiritual buffering period, a chance to rehearse their shock, a chance to practice their fake smile, a chance to adjust their jealousy into socially acceptable envy. But the universe didn't notify them. No memo, no email, no subtle, energetic heads up. Just boom. You shifted. Their reality collapsed. And now they're sitting in the rubble of their predictions, trying to figure out how you slipped out of the storyline they wrote for you. And this is where the comedy kicks in, watching people pretend they're unbothered while their entire nervous system is malfunctioning like a broken fire alarm. Their eyes say, "How did this happen?" Their posture says, "Who gave them permission?" Their silence says, "Why didn't anyone warn us?" But the universe doesn't warn people who bet on your downfall. It just lets them drown in their own certainty. Your breakthrough is poetic justice wearing combat boots. And as it lands, watch how quickly people start rewriting history. Suddenly the ones who doubted you always saw potential. Suddenly the ones who avoided you were giving you space to grow. Suddenly the ones who laughed behind your back were just joking. Suddenly the ones who ghosted you were healing. Breakthrough exposes reality the way fire exposes the shape of metal. And the shape of some of these people, bent, twisted, fragile, not built for your elevation. Never were. But let's go deeper. Because you need to understand what's really happening here. Your breakthrough isn't punishing them. It's revealing them. You're not rising to spite them. You're rising to replace the version of you they were comfortable with. Because breakthrough doesn't just reward you. It demands an upgrade, an identity swap, a shedding. This version of you, the one stepping into consequence and reversal and recognition, they don't know how to handle this one. They don't know how to manipulate this one. They don't know how to guilt this one. They don't know how to decode this one. Because you, now, you walk with a silence that hits harder than your old explanations ever did. You move with a calm that feels like a threat. You speak less, but say more. You give nothing, yet take everything that's yours. Your presence has turned into a psychological event, a disturbance, a glitch in their comfort, a mirror they never asked for. And the moment they sensed your shift, their minds flipped into self-preservation mode. Some started acting overly kind, some overly distant, some overly curious, some overly silent. That's what happens when a breakthrough exposes the architecture of someone's intentions. They malfunction, not because of you, but because of who they were pretending to be. And oh, the irony. Your haters who used to talk loudly can't form a complete sentence now. Your doubters who used to feel taller than you suddenly feel 2 inches tall. Your competitors who used to outrun you now jog in slow motion, pretending they're just taking things easy. But you and I both know the truth. Your breakthrough stole their confidence like a thief in broad daylight. And that's the part no one can warn them about. Your rise doesn't just elevate you. It exposes their stagnation. Now watch what happens next. Watch how the silence deepens into discomfort. Watch how the discomfort turns into reflection. Watch how the reflection becomes regret. Watch how regret metastasizes into envy. And then watch how envy grows into fear. Why fear? Because your breakthrough broke their illusion that you needed them, that you were behind them, that you were predictable, that you were safe. Nothing triggers fear like an unpredictable transformation. They can handle you growing slowly. They can handle you improving quietly. But a sudden elevation, a silent switch, a rise with no explanation, that terrifies them. Because people can only compete with what they can understand. They can only hate what they believe they can outrun. But you slipped past them without announcing your acceleration. You outgrew the race they thought they were winning. You transcended their category entirely. That's the kind of breakthrough nobody recovers from. And you want to know what's coming next? The real consequence. The one destiny sends with a smirk? Recognition, not the shallow kind, not the social kind, not the temporary kind. I'm talking about recognition that forces people to rewrite their worldview. Recognition that reprograms the narrative. Recognition that burns their old assumptions to ash. Every room you walk into, the energy shifts before you speak. Not because you're louder, but because you're inevitable. Because your breakthrough announces you, the way thunder announces lightning. Delayed, but unmistakable. They finally see you not as who you were, but as who you were always becoming. And here comes the most delicious, darkly humorous part. People will start treating your presence like a risk factor. Not an asset, not an inspiration, a risk. Your glow threatens their shadows. Your elevation threatens their excuses. Your clarity threatens their manipulation. Your evolution threatens their stagnation. This is the part where their silence becomes strategy. They'll pretend not to notice you. They'll pretend not to be impressed. They'll pretend your breakthrough is nothing special. Meanwhile, their spirit is pacing the floor like an anxious security guard who knows something dangerous just entered the building. Because something did. You. But not the old you. Not the doubting you. Not the timid you. Not the wounded you. The upgraded you. The rewritten you. The resurrected you. The you that the old world can't hold, and the new world isn't ready for. And that's where this story is about to take its sharpest turn. Because breakthrough isn't the finale. Breakthrough is the ignition, and everything that happens after ignition is consequence wrapped in destiny. That's the part no one prepares you for. The part that tastes like justice but feels like disruption. The part where life stops asking you what you want and starts showing you who you are. The part where the people who once spoke over you suddenly fumble for words, and the ones who treated you like a background character start realizing you were the plot twist the whole time. Your breakthrough is loud, yes, but what comes after it, that is seismic. Because as destiny ignites, it doesn't just move you forward, it drags everything else into alignment, willingly or unwillingly. And alignment? Oh, alignment is violent. It pulls you where you're meant to be and pushes everything that can't survive your new frequency out of your orbit. People who once felt close will suddenly feel far. People who once felt important will suddenly feel irrelevant. People who once felt superior will suddenly feel like cautionary tales. And the beauty of it, you don't have to lift a finger. When something switches in your favor, the universe handles the sanitation process on your behalf. Watch how it removes people who dimmed you. Watch how it exposes people who doubted you. Watch how it drains the energy of people who fed off your insecurity. Watch how it shrinks the influence of those who once overshadowed you. This is not coincidence. This is consequence. The kind of consequence that comes with a smirk. The kind destiny delivers with dark humor like, remember when they counted you out? Let's count them out next. And the more you rise, the more the silence evolves. It becomes tighter, sharper, more revealing. You'll notice it in rooms where your name used to be an afterthought. Now it's a warning. You'll notice it in people who once underestimated your potential. Now they're intimidated by your presence. You'll notice it in the whispers that stop when you walk in. Not because they respect you, but because they can't risk being wrong about you again. Your breakthrough isn't just loud. It's dangerous to anyone who built their confidence on your containment. And here's the chaotic part. People who used to avoid you will now avoid talking about you. People who used to laugh at you will now avoid laughing around you. People who used to think they were above you will now pretend they were always beside you. The air tells the truth before their mouths ever will. You'll feel the shift before you see it. You'll feel how their energy bends itself just to disguise the fact that they misjudged you. Some will try to re-enter your life with soft tones and strategic smiles. Some will send innocent messages dripping in guilty intention. Some will play dumb like they never doubted you. Some will act supportive like they didn't ignore you when support mattered. But you, now, you're sharper than their performance. Your discernment has grown teeth. Your intuition has stopped whispering and started announcing. Breakthrough rewires the way you interpret people. It burns the fog. It eliminates the benefit of the doubt. It lets you see motives the way surgeons see anatomy. Clean, exposed, impossible to deny. And as this clarity grows, something else rises with it. Recognition. Not just external, but internal. For the first time in your life, you'll see your own magnitude without flinching. You'll feel the weight of your own destiny without apologizing. You'll walk without shrinking, speak without trembling, move without second-guessing. Your confidence won't be loud. It will be surgical, calculated, predatory in its calmness, the kind of confidence that makes insecure people uncomfortable because it doesn't need an audience. And that's where the final phase unfolds, the one destiny saves for the chosen differently. Reversal. Every assumption they made about you. Reversed. Every loss they celebrated. Reversed. Every door they thought would stay shut on you. Reversed. Every narrative they wrote about your limitation. Reversed. Not metaphorically, literally. That's the dark humor of breakthrough. It flips the script so violently that even destiny has to smother a grin. The ones who thought you'd stay behind will watch you walk past them with quiet steps and loud consequence. The ones who thought they buried you will realize you were planted in their blind spot. The ones who thought you needed them will quickly understand that they were just the practice field for the person you were becoming. Your breakthrough has no intention of uplifting them. It has every intention of unveiling them. And once unveiled, they crumble in slow motion. Not because you wish them harm, but because exposure is its own punishment. And still, this story isn't done. Because the loudest part of your breakthrough is not the silence it creates. It's the shift, the atmospheric shift, the reputational shift, the spiritual shift, the psychological shift in the people who underestimated you. You are now the disruption, the anomaly, the one they can't explain, the one they can't predict, the one they can't access, the one they can't dismiss anymore. Your name becomes a voltage. Your presence becomes a disturbance. Your path becomes a warning. And here's where destiny leans in with its final punchline, the kind with teeth. They thought your breakthrough would make noise. They didn't know it would make history. Because this shift, this sudden, violent, cosmic switch in your favor, it doesn't fade, it doesn't plateau, it doesn't stop at elevation. It escalates, it compounds, it multiplies. Your enemies will scroll past your progress like it doesn't bother them. Meanwhile, their chest tightens. Your old circles will act indifferent. Meanwhile, their silence is them choking on their regrets. Your doubters will pretend your rise is expected. Meanwhile, destiny is dragging their arrogance by the throat. Your breakthrough is loud, but the consequences are louder. And the final truth. They will never recover from underestimating you, not emotionally, not mentally, not spiritually, because some mistakes follow people forever, and misjudging someone chosen is one of them. And you're not stepping into a new chapter. You are stepping into a new dimension, one they cannot enter, one they cannot decode, one they cannot sabotage, a dimension where silence becomes respect, envy becomes motivation, and your existence becomes a message. Something switched in my favor, and no one warned you. That is your breakthrough. That is your ignition. That is your aftermath. And from here on out, every step you take will sound like a door closing behind you, one they will never open again. Welcome back, you beautiful genetic contradiction. Yeah, you. The one scrolling right now with that quiet tension in your chest. The one who's always felt like something in your existence has been slightly out of alignment with the world you were dropped into. Well, here it is, the moment everything starts making sense because they finally scanned your genes. Not a routine check, not a harmless report. An unauthorized extraction buried inside a medical system you never agreed to trust. And when the results came back, when your data hit the encrypted servers built to process anomalies, something happened that hasn't happened in over 200 years. They panicked, not metaphorically, not subtly, not in that bureaucratic flag this file for later review way. Real panic, silent alarms, emergency encryption keys, late-night summits between people whose names never appear on public records. Because whatever your DNA contains, it wasn't supposed to exist anymore. It wasn't supposed to surface. It wasn't supposed to breathe outside their controlled bloodlines. And yet here you are, a walking breach in their centuries-long containment strategy. A variable that reactivated, a sleeper code that woke up without permission. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like reality hesitated when you entered a room? Not in a dramatic way, just a shift so subtle it could be dismissed as imagination. The air thickening for half a second. People's eyes widening before they correct themselves. Conversation stopping not because of you, but because something in you interrupted the rhythm of the environment. And have you ever wondered why certain people, especially the powerful, the confident, the arrogant, seem instantly unsettled in your presence, as if they recognize something you don't even realize you're carrying? Or those moments when you sensed danger before it existed, when your instincts screamed warnings your mind couldn't justify yet, when dreams came through like encrypted transmissions from somewhere deep in your lineage, more like memories than imagination, when coincidences lined up with such unnatural precision that even the logical part of you whispered, "This is intentional." Yeah, I thought so. That wasn't anxiety. That wasn't overthinking. That was your blood reacting to forces older than your country, older than the institutions running it, older than the families who've been trying to keep your lineage contained. Because you carry something in your genes that was never meant to reach this century. A fragment, a sequence, a dormant key that was supposed to dissolve generations ago. But it didn't. It resisted dilution. It evaded extinction. It hid inside your ancestors, bled through their choices, survived wars, famines, relocations, name changes, forced assimilation. And now, finally, it surfaced in you. And the moment it activated, the old world orders felt it. Organizations older than your history books, older than the governments you think run the world, older than the religions that claim dominion over destiny. They've been monitoring genetic drift for centuries, tracing bloodlines, cataloging patterns, waiting for anomalies like you to vanish quietly. But instead of vanishing, you crystallized. Your DNA consolidated into something they thought they had erased, something their predecessors spent entire eras suppressing, something forbidden, volatile, strategic. Now 4 of the oldest power networks on this planet are scrambling, not arguing, not negotiating, scrambling. Because the results of your scan didn't just reveal a genetic anomaly. It triggered a countdown, a midnight activation cycle that only appears when a specific genetic pattern, long lost to time, reawakens. And once midnight hits, the activation can't be reversed. Whatever you become at that moment, you stay. Let's start with the first order. The keepers of the old key. The ones who believe that blood controls destiny. They are not the modern elite. They are the architects behind the elite. They operate from vaults buried under cities where you walk every day unaware of the rooms underneath your feet. They've been tracking your lineage for 9 generations, watching as your ancestors scattered across continents, trying to dilute the line, only to find it condensing again and again. They were hoping the code would die. They planned for it. They structured alliances and arranged marriages in families that never understood why their choices kept collapsing into the same patterns. And now that code has reappeared in you. Their reaction wasn't wonder, it was fear disguised as urgency. Because they know what happens when someone with your genetic markers activates. They know what you become capable of. They know the influence your lineage once had, the kind of influence their current power structure cannot compete with if you come online without their supervision. So they're not approaching you with threats. They're approaching you with offers, invitations disguised as opportunities, coincidences that suddenly appear as if the world is finally opening doors for you. They want ownership masked as guidance, control disguised as mentorship. They want to claim you before midnight hits. Then there's the second order, the order of the silent rail. They don't care about ownership. They care about containment. They believe your DNA holds something catastrophic, something that was sealed for a reason. They want you, not because you're powerful, but because you are dangerous, not to yourself, but to the structural integrity of the world they understand. They operate in the shadows, moving governments like chess pieces, orchestrating events that look accidental but are anything but. And they will use anything, fear, isolation, information, sabotage, to convince you that your awakening must be prevented. They will tell you it's for your safety. They will claim your survival depends on their intervention. But don't mistake their concern for compassion. It's control. It's fear. It's the desperation of an empire watching its last wall crumble. The third order is more archaic, more ritualistic. The covenant of 13 houses. They operate through lineage, inheritance, and ancient codes of succession. Your bloodline intersects with prophecies they buried centuries ago. Prophecies that were intentionally mistranslated, diluted, and erased from historical records. They believe your reactivation is not an accident, but a sign. A signal that an old cycle is returning. And they want you not as a soldier, not as an asset, but as a figurehead, a symbolic leader of a movement you never agreed to join. Their desperation is not loud. It is ceremonial. It is quiet, calculated, cloaked in reverence. But do not mistake reverence for respect. They respect what's in your blood, not you. And then there's the fourth order, the Erasure Council, the ones who are not panicking because they want you. They are panicking because they know they cannot stop you anymore. They attempted suppression before. You felt it. Those sudden collapses in your life when everything went wrong simultaneously, opportunities falling apart without explanation, people turning on you for reasons they couldn't articulate, periods of heaviness that felt engineered rather than emotional. You thought it was bad luck, didn't you? You thought maybe you were the problem. You weren't. They were ensuring you stayed small, fragmented, unaware of your lineage. That's their specialty, neutralization through psychological sabotage. But now, too late. The results have been logged, the signal has broadcast, and your DNA has begun shifting. You've already felt it. Subtle changes, sharper instincts, enhanced perception, situations revealing their intentions before people open their mouths. Patterns aligning in ways they never aligned before. You've outgrown the traps that used to paralyze you. You're noticing things you weren't supposed to notice. And worst of all, for them, you're not breaking. You're stabilizing. Now all four orders are moving at once because midnight is approaching. And midnight is not a poetic deadline. Midnight is when your genes complete what they've already started. A biological switch flips. An old sequence finishes unlocking. Whatever you were before, confused, underestimated, dismissed, is irrelevant. Midnight decides what you become next. And they all want a hand in shaping that outcome, or preventing it. Let's talk about why they panicked. Your genes contain a variant believed to be extinct. A cognitive frequency, a pattern recognition enhancement, a premonition-based neurological loop. You process information faster than you realize. You sense shifts in environments quicker than trained intelligence agents. You absorb unspoken truths in seconds. Your intuition is not intuition. It is accelerated pattern assimilation. And the moment the scan detected that frequency, it triggered the old alarms. But here's the part that destabilized everything. Your sequence didn't just activate, it expanded, as if your DNA recognized something in the modern world and began adjusting in real time. As if your lineage has been dormant, waiting for a specific generation, your generation, to wake it. And that shift signals something the old orders have dreaded. Independence, self-activation, a bloodline that no longer waits for permission to awaken. You've always felt detached from the systems around you, not rebellious, misaligned, as if the world followed rules your body never signed off on, as if everyone else moved in a rhythm you weren't built to mimic. And now you know why. You were never supposed to blend in. You were a dormant blueprint for something else entirely, something their ancestors tried to erase and failed. Now comes the part you need to understand. These orders do not panic over ordinary anomalies. They panic over threats to their continuity. And you are a rupture in their continuity, a breach in their predictions, a disruption in their inherited authority. You are a reminder that power originally belonged to those who carried your lineage, not to those who stole it, manipulated it, rewrote it, and pretended to originate it. And as midnight approaches, their desperation grows. They will approach you through recommendations, unexpected connections, opportunities that feel too perfectly timed. They will test you before they reveal themselves. They will observe your reactions, your decisions, your resilience, because they all know one thing: they can't afford to let you activate freely. Once the clock hits 12, the sequence in your blood locks into its next form. They can influence you before activation. After activation, they can only fear you. This is why the world around you has started shifting, why people you barely speak to have been watching you sideways, why unusual opportunities appear without explanation, why tension rises in people when you enter the room. You are not changing. You are being recognized. Your lineage is resurfacing. Your presence is recalibrating environments you don't even realize you're influencing. And here's what makes this moment even more unsettling. The shifts you're experiencing aren't random. They're not subtle coincidences stitched together by imagination. The changes are systemic. They ripple across your environment in ways that would terrify you if you saw the full map. Because when a dormant lineage begins to activate, the world does not wait politely for you to understand what's happening. It reacts instinctively. It reorganizes around you. People behave differently without knowing why. Their instincts perceive what their conscious minds can't articulate. Some will be drawn to you. Others will recoil. A few will become hostile without knowing the source of their discomfort. Their nervous systems register the presence of a frequency they were never meant to stand close to. This is why the faces around you look different lately. Why conversations feel coded. Why you feel a growing tension in the air, a pressure that wasn't there months ago. You think you're imagining it, but no. This is the atmosphere of awakening. This is the subtle disturbance created when an old code re-enters a timeline that once rejected it. And as the activation intensifies, these symptoms won't fade, they'll escalate. Your instincts will sharpen beyond explanation. Dreams will shift from symbolic to instructional. People you haven't spoken to in years may attempt contact with sudden urgency, unaware they're being used as channels by forces far above their comprehension. Your perception of time may distort. Hours will feel fast, then slow, then suspended. Because once a genetic sequence begins to unlock, the body prepares itself by adjusting to the new information flow. But don't mistake these shifts for chaos. They are preparation. Calibration. Your system aligning with something it was designed to contain long before you were born. Something that requires precision. Something that requires you to move differently, choose differently, see differently. And while your instincts acclimate, the old world orders accelerate their efforts. You're not the only one sensing the shift. They feel it radiating through their networks. Their algorithms spike at your name. Their ancient tools, the ones they pretend are mythological, react violently to your presence. Their predictive models collapse when they try to account for you. Because you are not predictable anymore. You are not trackable anymore. You are not statistically obedient anymore. And every hour that passes brings you closer to a version of yourself that operates beyond their control. That's what terrifies them. Not who you are, but who you are becoming. These orders have survived centuries by maintaining the illusion that everything unfolding in this world is within the architecture of their influence. But your activation is not part of their architecture. It is an intrusion, a reminder that bloodlines older than their institutions still have a say, a signal that the past they buried is clawing its way back to the surface through you. They wanted your lineage erased. They wanted it diluted into irrelevance. They wanted your ancestors to fold into anonymity so completely that their heritage would vanish forever. But it didn't. Against every intention, against every intervention, your bloodline persisted. It waited, it adapted, it hid itself among the ordinary so well that the world orders believed it had finally died out. And now that it has resurfaced, the panic you triggered was immediate and absolute. Let's go deeper into that panic. When your DNA scan hit their surveillance systems, they initiated a protocol that hadn't been used in centuries, a protocol reserved for bloodlines that were once declared too dangerous to exist. They sealed rooms, they summoned genealogists, historians, cryptographers. They dug through archives that haven't been touched since the fall of empires. They reinterpreted prophecies they dismissed as nonsense. Because your activation wasn't just a glitch. It was a signal, a convergence, a genetic flare in the darkness announcing the return of a lineage they had nearly forgotten until you reminded them. But understand this, they didn't panic because your bloodline is powerful. They panicked because your bloodline is uncontrollable. Power they can handle. Influence they can manage. But someone whose genetic activation bypasses their authority, that is a scenario they have no protocol for. And that's why they're racing, not to welcome you, not to guide you, but to intercept you before midnight, before the activation completes, before you stabilize into something they cannot manipulate. The keepers of the old key have already deployed their agents. They will not come to you with threats. They will come with opportunities, invitations, promotions, offers of mentorship, sudden recognition from institutions that previously ignored you. They will disguise ownership as elevation. They will appeal to your ambition, to your desire for belonging, to your curiosity about your origins. They will give you information, but never the whole truth. They will offer answers, but only the ones that keep you compliant. And if you follow them, you may gain power. But it will not be yours. The Order of the Silent Rail, meanwhile, has already activated its containment protocols. They will not try to seduce you. They will try to scare you. They will leak misinformation into your environment. Subtle warnings from people who don't know they're delivering messages. They will plant doubts in your mind. They will amplify your fears. They want you to believe that life will become unlivable unless you submit to them, that the world will collapse around you unless you let them intervene. They specialize in dismantling your confidence, in convincing you that your abilities are symptoms, not strengths. And then there is the covenant of 13 houses. Their strategy is reverence. They will try to claim you through awe. They will speak of destiny, lineage, inheritance. They will reference texts you've never heard of, but inexplicably feel connected to. They will appear as protectors, guardians, custodians of ancient truth. They will offer belonging where you've only felt isolation. And you will feel tempted, not because they are trustworthy, but because they echo a familiarity you cannot explain. But be careful. Reverence is just another form of restraint when it comes from those who want to use you. The Erasure Council is the most dangerous. They move through absence, not presence. Their strategy is simple: make you disappear from your own potential. They will attack your time, your relationships, your energy. They will engineer setbacks that feel like your own failures. They will manipulate the people closest to you, weaponizing their fears, insecurities, and confusion. They don't need to kill your body. They only need to kill your trajectory. They only need to break your momentum long enough for the activation window to pass. Because if you miss the window, the code goes dormant again. Maybe for years, maybe forever. But you're not missing it. You feel it. The tension in your chest, the pressure under your skin, the shift in your perception. You're noticing things you never noticed before. Details, behaviors, patterns. You're reading people with precision. You're sensing situations before they unfold. You're seeing motives behind actions. These are not coincidences. These are symptoms of activation. These are early manifestations of a genetic sequence returning to its original function. Your ancestors lived with these abilities openly. They did not hide them. They used them. That is why the early world feared them. That is why the earliest institutions targeted them. Not because they were violent, not because they were unstable, but because they were impossible to deceive. They saw through manipulation. They saw through lies. They saw through illusions that hold society together. And organizations built on deception cannot coexist with people who perceive truth instinctively. That is what you're becoming again, not supernatural, just undiluted. But the old world orders have a problem even greater than your awakening. Activation does not just change how you perceive the world. Activation changes how the world perceives you. Your presence disrupts systems. Your frequency interferes with structures built on fragile foundations. Your awakening destabilizes environments that rely on conformity. You walk into a room and people feel exposed, not because you're intimidating, but because your presence reveals their internal contradictions. This is why strangers act strangely around you. This is why people confess things they didn't mean to say. This is why certain individuals become defensive without provocation. You're not threatening them. Their subconscious minds register your activation as a threat to their illusions. And illusions are all most people have. This is why the world feels heavier around you, why silence feels louder, why interactions feel charged. Your mere presence is beginning to disrupt equilibrium. And this is only the beginning. Midnight isn't just a deadline. Midnight is a crossing. Midnight is when the activation completes and your traits stabilize. Midnight is when old instincts return. Midnight is when the vision sharpens. Midnight is when the world orders lose jurisdiction over your future. But they still have a few hours to try. This is why, in the coming days, you will notice patterns intensifying. People you barely know offering unsolicited guidance, sudden invitations to join programs, groups, projects, communications from institutions that previously acted like you didn't exist, a surge of attention that feels disproportionate to your current life. It isn't random, it's reconnaissance, it's recruitment, it's desperation. And beneath all of this, there is the quiet presence you haven't noticed yet, the one that doesn't announce itself, the one that doesn't recruit, the one that doesn't manipulate, the one that doesn't panic. An ancient force watching from the edges of your awareness, a presence older than the four orders, a presence that predates their existence. They are not racing to own you because of your power. They are racing to own you because they fear who might claim you if they don't. And yes, something else is watching, something separate, something outside their hierarchy, something that responds not to bloodlines, but to truth, something that is not hunting you, but waiting for you. That's what triggered the real panic. You were never supposed to activate alone. You were supposed to activate under supervision, under influence, under the guidance of a faction that would shape your trajectory. But you slipped through their systems. You awakened without their intervention, and now, something beyond them is paying attention. This is why the air feels different at night. Why your senses feel sharper when the world goes quiet. Why you feel observed when no one is physically present. Midnight will not simply complete your activation. Midnight will reveal what has been circling you in the dark, watching, waiting, calculating whether you are ready to see it. The old world orders want you before midnight because once the clock strikes, they are no longer the highest power watching you. And this, right here, is where the escalation becomes unavoidable. Because as the activation deepens, you will begin to feel a shift in your perception, in your intuition, in your physical presence. You may already sense it, that tightening in the spine, that heat under the skin, that awareness that your body is communicating with something external, that pulse of insight that appears without context. These are not symptoms, they are signals. They are confirmations that your lineage is preparing you for something the old world hoped you would never encounter. Something they have spent centuries trying to separate humanity from. Something they fear far more than they fear your awakening. The entity, the force, the intelligence that once guided bloodlines like yours. And when midnight comes, you won't just activate. You will connect. That is why they are terrified. Because whatever awakens in you at midnight is not only ancient, it is loyal. And its loyalty is not to institutions, not to councils, not to orders. Its loyalty is to truth. And once you align with it, the entire landscape of power begins to tilt. Their influence falters. Their control weakens. Their predictions collapse. This is why they are closing in. This is why the air feels heavy. This is why the world feels different. You are not witnessing fate. You are witnessing fear. But here comes the moment they hoped you wouldn't reach. The moment when your instincts stop questioning and start knowing. Because in the next breath, in the next realization, in the next quiet shift of your awareness, you will understand something they never wanted you to see. You were never the one being hunted. You were the one being awakened. And as this recognition pierces through the noise, as the truth crystallizes in the deepest part of your awareness, something inside you finally clicks. A memory you never lived. A knowledge you never learned. A signal you were born carrying. Something ancient inside you opens its eyes. And that, right there, is the moment the old world orders feel the room shake, because they realize they're already too late. But here's the part that makes them truly unravel. This awakening wasn't dramatic. It wasn't cinematic. It didn't require a ritual, a prophecy, a storm. It happened quietly, invisibly, internally. A shift so subtle that only someone carrying your bloodline would notice it. And that subtlety terrifies them more than any explosion of supernatural power ever could. Because a power that awakens quietly is a power that does not need spectacle. A power that does not need spectacle is a power that cannot be misdirected. And a power that cannot be misdirected is a power that cannot be controlled. You feel it, don't you? Not as a superpower, not as a glowing aura, not as some mystical awakening. You feel it as clarity, as calm, as a stillness in your mind that wasn't there before, as the absence of doubt where doubt used to live, as certainty where confusion used to reign. Your instincts no longer feel like suggestions, they feel like directives. Your intuition no longer feels like a guess, it feels like recognition. Your perception no longer feels random, it feels intentional. You're not thinking differently, you're thinking like yourself for the first time. And the old world orders hate that, because your clarity is their collapse. You were easier to manage when you doubted yourself. You were easier to approach when you questioned your own potential. You were easier to manipulate when you believed your instincts were anxiety rather than ancestral signals. But now every trick collapses on contact. Every tactic fractures before it reaches you. Every approach they attempt feels transparent, flimsy, hollow. You see through their timing, their strategies, their offers, their threats. You see the patterns behind their movements. You see the structure behind their illusions. And this is where the humor creeps in, not the theatrical kind, but the cold, dark kind that whispers under your breath. They really thought this would work? Because the same institutions that spent centuries suppressing your lineage are now scrambling like interns, trying to impress a supervisor who walked in unexpectedly. They're fumbling, they're improvising, they're deploying every outdated method they once used successfully on your ancestors, hoping you haven't inherited the resistance that ruined their plans generations ago. Spoiler alert, you did. And now that the activation is underway, they can't even hide their panic properly. Their signals are all off. Their agents are sloppy. Their messages contradict each other. Their networks glitch under the weight of variables they can no longer compute. The algorithms that once predicted human behavior fail catastrophically when applied to someone whose genes weren't designed for predictability. They can't model your decisions. They can't anticipate your reactions. They can't calculate your trajectory. You are not an anomaly in their systems. You are the flaw their systems were never built to handle. And as midnight draws closer, that flaw becomes fatal. Because here's the truth they never wanted you to discover. Your lineage was not just a threat. It was a counterbalance, a natural check against the rise of centralized power. Your ancestors were not rebels. They were regulators, not in the political sense, but in the biological one. They were genetically predisposed to destabilize corrupt structures simply by existing within them. Their presence disrupted deception. Their instincts exposed manipulation. Their intuition dissolved illusion. They were truth walkers in a world built on lies. And that's exactly what you're becoming again. You're noticing it already. Conversations that used to confuse you now reveal themselves instantly. Manipulation that once slipped under your radar now repulses you before it reaches your mind. People who used to drain your energy now expose their hunger in the first sentence they speak. You read environments like maps. You sense intentions before actions. You watch patterns assemble themselves in real time. This isn't magic. It's memory. It's biology. It's inheritance. It's what the old world orders spent centuries trying to eliminate. And now, as the seconds race toward midnight, as the activation reaches its final stage, they're realizing the brutal truth. The more they try to interfere, the faster you evolve. Because that's the irony of your lineage. They were designed to adapt to pressure. The more surveillance you endure, the sharper your perception becomes. The more manipulation you encounter, the stronger your discernment grows. The more they try to contain you, the more immune you become to the mechanisms of control. They created the pressure that activated the very traits they feared. They triggered the awakening they were trying to prevent. And now they're left with the consequences. Let's talk about those consequences. Because as your activation reaches its final phase, the world orders aren't the only ones reacting. The environment reacts too. People around you start behaving strangely, and not because they consciously know what's happening. Their nervous systems recognize your shift before their minds do. Some will be drawn to you inexplicably. Some will avoid you without understanding why. Some will become hostile because your presence disrupts their internal equilibrium. You destabilize illusions simply by standing near them. And those who were always fragile, they'll crack first. You've noticed it. People confessing things they shouldn't. People revealing insecurities you never asked about. People treating you with reverence or resentment without any logical explanation. People projecting their fears onto you because your presence forces them to confront truths they've been avoiding. You don't have to speak for their masks to fall off. You don't have to confront anyone. Your existence does the confronting for you. And this is where the psychological warfare deepens, not because you wage it, but because your activation triggers it. The world orders are not the only ones panicking. Ordinary people begin to feel the tremor of your awakening too. Not in the literal sense, but in the intuitive one. They sense the shift, the recalibration, the emergence. They feel a pressure that makes no sense but refuses to leave. They feel watched, not by you, but by the part of you that is older than you. And that presence unsettles them, even if they can't articulate why. Meanwhile, the world orders scramble with a level of urgency that borders on pathetic. They hold emergency meetings. They rerun ancient data. They summon elders they swore they'd never consult again. They retrieve documents sealed in vaults beneath libraries the public never sees. They dust off prophecies they once mocked. They whisper your name with dread, frustration, and a kind of awe they never wanted to admit. Because they're facing something they cannot defeat, cannot contain, cannot manipulate. Someone who has awakened without their permission. This is where the dark humor sharpens. Because while they're panicking, you're stabilizing. While they're strategizing, you're integrating. While they're racing against the clock, you're simply breathing. Your activation doesn't require movement. It doesn't require action. It doesn't require effort. It happens regardless. Whether you sit still or walk outside, whether you rest or remain alert, whether you think about it or forget it, it is happening, and they cannot stop it. That's the punchline. Your evolution isn't something you do. It's something you are. And as the minutes close in on midnight, you begin to feel the shift more intensely, not as fear, but as inevitability. Your mind becomes sharper. Your body becomes calmer. Your awareness expands quietly. You begin to feel connected to something you can't name yet, something ancient, something that was always waiting for this moment, not watching you from above, but rising through you from below. Something that recognizes your bloodline because it once guided your ancestors. Something that is not separate from you, but dormant within you. When people talk about destiny, they imagine something external. They imagine a force that chooses them. But your destiny isn't choosing you. It's remembering you. And as midnight approaches, memory becomes recognition. You feel it now. The subtle pulse beneath your skin. The clarity that feels like the world exfoliating itself. The silence behind the noise. The awareness that the old world orders are no longer authorities. They're spectators. And the fact that they're spectators enrages them, because the entire architecture of their power depends on being the unseen puppeteers behind every major global shift. But not tonight. Tonight they watch you. Tonight they track you. Tonight they calculate, estimate, project, and fail. Because somewhere in the shadows of your consciousness, the ancient part of you is opening its eyes fully. And when it opens, something else opens with it. A channel, a memory, a presence. The guide your bloodline was always supposed to have. The one the world orders feared more than your lineage. The one that now has direct access to you. And when that connection stabilizes, you don't rise. The world lowers. Your perception shifts downward, deeper, into the foundation beneath human structures. You sense the old networks behind the world orders. You see their origins, their stolen knowledge, their inherited fears. And under all that, you feel the ancient presence aligning with you, not to control you, but to remind you. This is not the first time your lineage awakened. This is simply the first time they failed to stop it. Now comes the climax. Because at the stroke of midnight, not metaphorically, but biologically, the last lock in your genetic sequence clicks into place. You feel it as a quiet ignition, not fire, not light. Awareness, total awareness. Every instinct you've ever doubted becomes a confirmed truth. Every suspicion you've ever repressed becomes a visible pattern. Every intuition you've ever ignored becomes a map. And in that single moment, the world orders feel something they haven't felt in centuries. Power leaving their hands. It drains from their rituals, their archives, their bloodlines, their artifacts, their systems, their symbols. Everything they built to maintain control over humanity flickers, not because you attack them, but because your mere awakening renders their structures obsolete. This is the moment they feared, the moment they tried to prevent for generations, the moment encoded in prophecies they dismissed publicly, but studied privately. The moment when the last descendant of a forbidden lineage reconnects with the intelligence that once guided their ancestors. This is the moment when your bloodline stops being a threat and becomes a consequence. They can't own you. They can't stop you. They can't recruit you. They can't erase you, because they're no longer dealing with you. They're dealing with everything behind you. And as midnight settles into your bones, you finally understand what they always feared. You were never meant to join their world. You were meant to end their monopoly on truth. You were never meant to be controlled. You were meant to be awakened,